What's good, people? My name is D-Rock, and today we're gonna make a simple EDM pluck. Great for ARPs, background textures, that sort of stuff. It's a pretty simple sound, but yeah, let's hear what we're gonna make today. So yeah, real plucky, very squarish, reverb, that sort of stuff. It's a pretty simple patch overall, but yeah, let's just dive right into this. Main sound for this, as you saw up there, is going to be a Thor. Right off the bat, let's combine it to keep stuff organized and open up the programmer. And we're going to use two oscillators for this, both analog. Top one's going to be square, and we're going to bump that up an octave. Bottom one's going to be sawtooth, we're going to bump that up 2 octaves. On the first oscillator for the square wave, we're going to change the pulse width to 64. That way it's a true that way it's a true square and it's even on both sides. Okay, now let's get this thing kind of plucking more because we're not really plucking yet. Yep, let's send that through as well. There we go. Let's drop the attack, release, and sustain all the way down, and drop the decay really, really low. There we go. Now that that's kind of plucking. Let's now we're gonna mimic this envelope with the filter envelope. So drop those down. Cool. Now we can bump up the envelope amount on the filter frequency and drop the frequency down. You can kind of play with the amounts for this. Usually something like this will work fairly well. Okay, now let's drop the balance of the mixer more over to the square wave oscillator 1. Something like that. Then we'll add on the shaper on rectify. Something that I don't really use often, but it worked really, really well for this sound. Just gives it a real small, high-end kind of buzziness. And then we can slap on the built-in delay unit. And all right, now let's put an LFO on the amp pan. That way, that'll make the sound a bit less static. Kind of have it moving around side to side for us. And you can usually drop that pretty low. Then you may want to switch it over to the more triangle waveform versus the sine waveform. That way it doesn't stick on like either side for too long. Cool. That's about it for stuff inside of the Thor. The rest of it's just pretty simple processing. First and foremost is going to be an EQ. And we're going to cut out all the lows. As you can see with this sound, there's a lot of extra low-end junk. Like that, and we don't want that crap in there. So, however you like to high pass your stuff, this is typically what I do. Make sure you don't high pass too much, otherwise it kind of loses all of its balls, and we still want to have some balls at least. Kind of see what I'm talking about there? So I usually leave it something like that. And then I'll usually end up cutting out about 500-600 hertz. There's some weird dog barky low mid crap. Like that right in there. We don't want that. Kind of cleans it up a little bit. Cool, now let's compress this. As a warning, we are going to compress the living heck out of this. So input gain up, threshold down, ratio up. Drop the release all the way down, and then kind of play with the attack time. You don't want it all the way down, otherwise it clamps down way too fast on the sound. So if you have it all the way down, then slowly ease off on it. You can usually find kind of the sweet spot for it. So let's do that right now. Probably do something like that. That's nice and plucky. And then finally, we can end it off with a reverb. If you see my other videos, you'll know that I like plate reverbs. And this one's no different, except this one will have a longer tail than what I normally do. Throw the damp all the way down. I'll usually boost the high EQ up a little bit. And then do a high pass on the reverb's EQ as well. Kind of cleans up a lot. It kind of cleans up that low mids on the reverb tail. But yeah, that's the basic gist of the sound. It's a pretty simple EDM pluck. You can use it in a lot of styles. But yeah, hope you guys learned something. If you have any questions or like any requests for sounds, drop a comment or send me a message. And yeah, I will see you next time.